Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show
with Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey.
Welcome to the Cup of Joe on Patreon. I'm your host, Joey Harris, along with my co-host, Tyler, broadcasting from makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia. You can follow the show on Twitter and Blue Sky at Cup of Joe Pod. You can email the show at babykangaroomedia@gmail.com. And this show will also be up on the free feed as a special Patreon preview for this month as well. But let me bring on my co-host, the man who got lost going to get a soft pretzel at Globe Life Field. How are you, Tyler?
Pretty good. Actually, I didn't get lost.
I would think if you went to Globe Life Field to get a soft pretzel during this show, it may have taken you an hour to get back to your seat, because that was a big place and this was a long show.
Okay, so we're actually
Globe Life Field is in Arlington, Texas.
Okay, then I thought you were talking about something completely different. So yes, okay. You're right. I would get lost.
Where did you think I was talking about?
For some reason, I thought you. I'm tired. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the Portland Cross Insurance Center when I went to AEW.
Oh,
because I did get a soft pretzel.
So hey, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's funny. Although their soft pretzels are good. So yeah. But you know, AEW is just up the road in Richmond on Wednesday. I have a coworker, she and her fiance, they're getting married next week, but they're going to AEW on Wednesday to Dynamite. She says she's going to hold up a sign to see if she can get on. She's like, "Look, Joey, I'm at AEW." I'm like, "Yes, I'll be looking for it."
Yes. And actually too, something that I learned, and this probably happened when you went too, at their live shows, like during commercial break, they'll point out some like fans with signs and give them free merch.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they did the same thing when I went to the Collision taping last August and all of that. So yeah, he's trying to come back. I know that he's been trying to come back to Virginia, and so this is the first time that they'll be in Richmond. Like they were in Roanoke when I went for the Collision taping. So I think they're trying to find some of these smaller venues to go to. But today we take a look at All In Texas from AEW. All In Texas was shown on pay-per-view on July the 12th, 2025 from Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. There were 21,973 in attendance, and the show did 175,000 buys. We start out with our intro. Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Nigel McGuinness welcome us to All In Texas. And we start out hot. AEW Trios Championship match. The Ops, Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Powerhouse Hobbs versus the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta with Gabe Kidd. The heels out first. The Ops get a good reaction when they come out. They start fighting as soon as the Ops get to the ring. Shibata and Kidd start, and they chop each other in the center of the ring. They chop each other down, but get back to their feet almost immediately. Shibata gets a big kick to knock Kidd down. Joe and Yuta in. They circle each other. Yuta can't get Joe down. Joe with a side headlock. He dominates Yuta. He hits an enziguri. Hobbs comes in. He hits a delayed vertical suplex. Shibata comes back in and keeps the attack up. Yuta is trapped and punished in the Ops corner. Shibata with a chop and a snapmare. Yuta tags Castagnoli, who unloads on Shibata in the corner. They trade European uppercuts. Shibata gets a big boot. He drop kicks Castagnoli in the corner. Joe tagged in. He attacks Castagnoli and gets a 1 count. Back and forth. Joe is thrown out and attacked by Kidd and the Death Riders. Joe thrown in and beat down in a corner. The Death Riders lure the Ops in and attack Joe when he tries to get the Ops out. Castagnoli with a chin lock to Joe. Joe comes back with a barrage of offense. Hobbs tagged in and unloads on everyone. He hits Kid with a big clothesline. He hits Castagnoli with a spine buster, but Yuta breaks up the pin. Castagnoli hits the uppercut, but only gets a 2 count. Yuta tagged in and went for the Doomsday device. Hobbs catches him and power slams him for a 2 count. That was an awesome move. The Ops attack Yuta. All 6 are in. Castagnoli giant swings Hobbs into a barricade. Yuta with a German suplex for a 2 count. Kid in against Shibata. Hits a brain buster for a 1 count. Shibata slaps Kid. Joe tagged in. He slugs Kid. Joe with a power slam, but Castagnoli breaks up the pin. Joe hits the muscle buster on Yuta to get the pin. The Death Riders attack the Ops after the match. They wrap a chair around Joe's neck and stomp it. They leave, and medics are out to check on Joe, and they load him on a stretcher.
Very good opening match.
I thought it went just the amount of time. It started to drag a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. So then we go to the men's casino gauntlet match. Flashback to MJF and Mark Briscoe being the number 1 and number 2 entrants. Briscoe comes out to a big ovation. MJF out with MVP. He gets booed. The bell rings and MJF goes for some quick covers. Briscoe comes back. MVP joins commentary. MJF taunts the crowd. MJF taunts Briscoe, who comes back on MJF. Number 3 is Ricochet. He and MJF join forces on Briscoe. They take turns hitting Briscoe. Number 4 is Bandito. Ricochet tells him to bring it. MJF with a thumb to Ricochet's eyes, and Bandito attacks Ricochet. Briscoe clears the ring and scissor kicks Ricochet. He attacks everyone. Number 5 is Kensuke Takashita. He and Briscoe square off. Takashita with a back elbow. Or I guess it's Takeshita. Takeshita. He hits Ricochet with a Blue Thunder Bomb for a 2 count. He and Bandito brawl again less than 24 hours after their Ring of Honor match. Back and forth, MJF with a power bomb to Bandito for a 2 count. He goes after Bandito's mask. Number 6 is Mystico, and that is where this match fell off the rails for me.
Agreed.
He goes after MJF. They do his entire entrance. He takes on Takeshita and then Bandito. Everyone has to stand there as he repositions himself to jump on them on the outside. He then gets MJF in an armbar. After that, I'm like, nope, I'm done. I can suspend disbelief, but when he had to reposition himself, and they're just like, okay, I guess we're just going to stand here.
So we talked about it before we went live, but this was the match where I started to zone out just for many reasons.
Number 7 is Josh Alexander. He hits a suplex on everyone. Takeshita takes out a group with a suicide dive. Number 8 is Anthony Bowens. He attacks Alexander and hits a DDT. He takes on everyone. He and Briscoe trade shots. He gets attacked by Alexander and Takeshita. Takeshita gets a close count on Ricochet. Number 9 is Roderick Strong. He gets attacked by Alexander and Takeshita. Number 10 is Brody King. He dominates Alexander and Takeshita. They come back on him, and Bandito helps King. King slams Ricochet down. King gets a sleeper on MJF. He then hits cannonballs on several wrestlers and gets a close count. They start to pair off. Number 11 is Juice Robinson. He takes on Ricochet. He gets a close count. The Gates of Agony come in to help Ricochet. They keep everyone out. The Guns come out to take them on. They had a flapjack on Ricochet, and Robinson covers, but MJF breaks it up. Number 12 is Kota Ibushi. He attacks everyone. I see a pattern here, is what I said. He gets a 2 count on Bowens. Number 13 is the Beast Mortos. No surprise here. He attacks everyone. He takes Ricochet down. He spears King. He takes on everyone one at a time. Mortos literally puts himself on the top rope for Mystico to Hurricane Rana him off to get a 2 count. Excuse me while I roll my eyes. Is what I said.
Yep.
Ricochet gets a 2 count. Bandito gets a knee for a 2 count. Everyone gets a time to shine. 5 straight minutes of this. Number 14 is Max Caster. He gets attacked immediately. Briscoe hits Strong with the J Driller, but gets taken out by MJF, who covers Strong to win, and he holds up his contract for a future title shot.
All right, I'm just going to say this.
Okay.
That match alone went 34 minutes and 55 seconds.
Yep.
It was one of my 2 least favorite matches on the card. What do you think my other least favorite one was?
The women's gauntlet match?
Yeah.
Because there was some good women's wrestling on this show, but this was not one of them. Stokely Hathaway says FTR will be the guest commentators for the World Tag Team match. We then get the TNT Championship 4-way match: Sammy Guevara, Kyle Fletcher, Dustin Rhodes, and Daniel Garcia. We get a feature on the match. Current champion Adam Cole comes out to relinquish the title. He gets a good reception. He's very emotional and talks about his health issues and says he might be gone for good. A thank you Adam chant goes out. He talks about always wanting to be a pro wrestler. He thanks the fans. He hugs Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly. He leaves the belt in the ring. Garcia out first with Daddy Magic. Guevara out next. Daddy Magic joins commentary. Rhodes out to a great ovation. He hugs Guevara. Fletcher out last. He takes his time getting to the ring. Fletcher hits Garcia and Guevara. He takes on Rhodes. Double teamed by Guevara and Rhodes. Everyone gets a chance to pick their spots. Fletcher dominates until getting taken down by Rhodes. Back and forth. Fletcher works on Rhodes' leg. He throws Rhodes out. Garcia and Guevara double team Fletcher. Garcia and Guevara fight on the apron, and Guevara hits the Spanish fly off the apron to the floor. Fletcher hits the Michinoku driver for a 2 count on Rhodes. Fletcher puts the figure 4 on Rhodes. Garcia puts the figure 4 on Guevara. Rhodes and Guevara reverse them, and Garcia and Fletcher slap each other. All 4 trade shots. Fletcher thrown outside. Guevara goes up top, but gets caught by Garcia. He superplexes Guevara off. He does a second one. He goes for a third one, but Fletcher tries to interfere. He gets superplexed as well. Garcia with corner mounted punches to Guevara. Rhodes power slams Garcia and Fletcher. Rhodes hits crossroads to Fletcher for a 2 count. He posts Fletcher in the corner, but Garcia and Guevara kick Fletcher first. Rhodes then kicks Fletcher. Garcia with a Boston Crab on Guevara. Guevara comes out. He hits the GTH, but Rhodes makes the save. He and Guevara argue, and Garcia with a roll-up for a 2 count. Garcia gets his knees up on a frog splash and gets the Dragon Tamer on Guevara. Fletcher beats both up. He goes after Rhodes. He hits a brutal running kick. Guevara catches Fletcher with a cutter, only to get hit with a pile driver from Garcia. Back and forth. Garcia with a Scorpion Deathlock on Rhodes. Rhodes gets out and gets a shocking roll-up to get the pin and become the new TNT champion. He is emotional and gets a standing ovation. The announce team also gives him a standing ovation. The Von Erichs and his nephews are out to congratulate him. They lift him up. Guevara comes over, and he and Rhodes embrace. Good match.
It was a good match. And it wasn't like one of those matches that went too long either, which was nice. 15 minutes and 45 seconds. Can't complain. I do like that everybody took their turn of hitting
Fletcher.
Fletcher in the corner.
And folks, we reviewed this and on HBO Max. They do not have 0 Hour on HBO Max. But so far on this pay-per-view, we have not had a one-on-one match yet.
Mm. How did you watch it?
I watched it on HBO Max.
Okay. Same. I didn't know if Honor Club, the Ring of Honor, had it.
You can get it on Honor Club, but you have to pay for it. It's a separate charge. They don't have anything as far as that goes. They have all of last year's. They don't have any of this year's pay-per-views up on HBO Max, but I think they have all previous pay-per-views. All right, so the next match is a tag match. The Young Bucks
and Before you start,
Yes.
my favorite match on the
This one
card.
is?
Yes.
It's a good match. I do have some problems with it, and I will let you know what they are as we get to it. The Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, although for the purposes of me recapping it, they'll be Matt and Nick, versus Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. Flashback to what led to the match. Some sort of Assassin's Creed intro leads to Ospreay coming out, is what I said. Taz switches out with Nigel on commentary. JoJo Offerman out to sing Swerve out with Prince Nana. It's been 9 minutes and only half of the wrestlers are out. The Young Bucks come out and take their time. They then disappear. They show up on a boat float and some proclamation is read. This is hokey. It takes forever to get started. So if Ospreay and Swerve were to lose, they couldn't challenge for a world title for a year, right? Versus the EVP status of the Bucks. Ospreay and Nick start. Matt quickly tagged in. All four men are in briefly. Double team to Strickland. Strickland tagged in. The Bucks with the early advantage. Ospreay and Strickland out to regroup. Ospreay chops Matt in the corner. Strickland tagged in. All four back in. Ospreay gets a 2 count on Jackson. Strickland back in, back and forth. Ospreay with an enziguri. The action is fast and furious. They brutalize Ospreay on the apron. The Bucks avoided a dive from Strickland and hit him with a pair of super kicks. They beat Ospreay down in the corner. They go to Strickland in so they can double team Ospreay. Ospreay comes back. Nick comes in and gets a 2 count. Matt in. The Bucks do some good quick tagging. Matt with a rear chin lock. Ospreay comes back with a shot and stomp. The Bucks caught off the tag attempt. Ospreay fights back again and this time tags Strickland in. Strickland unloads on both Bucks. Strickland starts dancing and Matt cuts him off. Strickland with a power slam to Nick for a 2 count. All four in, and Strickland and Ospreay with the double or hurricane ranas and topes to the Bucks. Double kick to Nick. Stereo sky twisters by Strickland and Ospreay for a 2 count. That was impressive.
Very much so.
Young Bucks come back with a running knee strike to Ospreay. Escalade to Ospreay for a 2 count. Matt shoves and berates Ospreay. They trade shots back and forth by all four with a gym routine. The crowd liked it. Ospreay and Strickland hit stereo house call and hidden blade at the end of the routine. Both go up top but get caught by the Bucks. Matt tagged in. Stereo style clashes for a 2 count. Swerve stomp Stormbreaker combo, but Nick breaks up the pin. Nick takes out Strickland and kicks Prince Nana. Matt gets a 2 count with his feet on the ropes and then low blows Ospreay. TK driver to Strickland on the outside. Ospreay kicks out of the bang for your buck. Young Bucks with a double EVP trigger to Ospreay, but Strickland makes the save. Strickland takes on both EVPs. Ospreay gets a 2 count on a roll up. He then accidentally hits Strickland with a hidden blade. EVP trigger to Ospreay and he kicks out on 2. He kicks out of a TK driver. They put Ospreay on the ropes and super kick him repeatedly. I'm not as critical of AEW as some, but I don't care. No, because I don't care. But why is the ref not trying to stop them or count or anything? Like you can say, well, they're currently EVPs. He doesn't have the power to stop it. Just as a human being, say, hey, guys, that's enough. Go ahead and pin him. It's over. But they're not doing anything, but just standing there looking at him. Strickland covers Ospreay, so they kick him. They go to EVP trigger Strickland. He grabs their legs, and Ospreay clotheslines Nick. Swerve stomp into a tombstone pile driver for a 2 count.
Yeah.
Insert eye roll here is what I said. Another hidden blade for a 2 count. Strickland stomps Nick on the outside. Another house call hidden blade, and Strickland finally gets the pin. Ospreay and Strickland celebrate. The Young Bucks are no longer EVPs. Ospreay and Strickland shake hands after the match.
My one problem with it is I think that there was way too many super kicks.
Yes.
And that's just like in general. That's like across the board in wrestling.
Oh,
like,
100% agreed. Yeah.
it is not special anymore.
All right. So this is now the fourth match, Tyler, and we're at the women's casino gauntlet to determine the number one contender. So still have not had a one-on-one match. I mean, that's how we'll end the night with 3 back-to-back one-on-one matches. But number 1 is Chris Statlander. Number 2 is Megan Bain. Statlander out to a good ovation. Bain out with Penelope forward. The bell rings and they are face to face. Tests of strength back and forth. Bain with a Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. Statlander comes back. It goes outside. Bain with a suicide dive. Statlander with a senton. Number 3 is Willow Nightingale. She and Statlander trade shots. Nightingale with a spine buster to Statlander, but Bain cuts off a Dr. Bomb attempt. Double choke slam to Nightingale. Number 4 is Ty Mello. She hits everyone. Anna Jay is out with Mello. Mello with a submission to Bain. Ford breaks it up. Ford goes up top for a doomsday device on Bain, but Harley Cameron appears and knocks her off. Mello clears the ring. Everyone is fighting all over. Number 5 is Thekla. She goes after Mello and Nightingale. Crossbody on the outside to Statlander and Bain. Mello breaks up a pin. Nightingale with a pounce and a Dr. Bomb. Statlander breaks it up. Bain and Statlander with a doomsday device. Number 6 is Julia Hart. She hits Statlander and Bain with a moonsault. Old school to Bain. Hart hits the flying octopus. Mello gets a cover, but Tekla breaks it up. Number 7 is Queen Aminata. She and Tekla go after each other. Aminata hits the Queen's crown. They trade shots. Aminata with a brutal-looking neck breaker. Nightingale with a senton to break it up. People start to pair off. Sky Blue, who had come out with Hart, keeps interfering. Hart and Tekla do spider suplexes. Number 8 is Mina Shirakawa. She attacks everyone. Statlander and Bain attack her. Blue then attacks Shirakawa. Shirakawa puts Blue in the figure 4. Number 9 is Athena. Blue taps, but she's not in the match. That part did crack me up where she thinks she's won because of Blue tap, but she's not in the match. I did laugh at that. Number 9 is Athena. Blue taps, but she's not in the match. Athena unloads on everyone. People start to pair off again. Number 10 is Thunder Rosa. She attacks Athena. She beats Athena down. Everyone gets their time to shine. Number 11 is Shuri. This is her AEW debut. She and Athena square off. Shirakawa and Shuri then square off. Number 12 is Alex Windsor. She attacks Shuri back and forth. Windsor takes out the others one by one. Shuri suplexes Windsor. They trade moves. Everyone paired off in the ring. Hart does the tarantula on Shirakawa. Statlander slammed on the apron by Bain. Everyone out on the floor. Statlander powerbombs Bain on the others. Thunder Rosa attacks Shirakawa in the ring. They trade blows. Shirakawa gets Thunder Rosa down. Shirakawa with a back fist. She goes for the figure 4, but Athena hits the O face on Shirakawa to get the pin. She holds up the title shot and her ROH Women's Championship.
I'll be honest, Joey. I told you that it was one of my least favorite matches.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know what I was doing at the time that it was this match was playing?
What's that?
I was gaming and I had it on my second monitor, so I wasn't really paying attention to it.
Okay. What were you playing?
Guild Wars 2.
Okay.
I know. I'm bad.
AEW World Tag Team Championship triple threat match. Can't even have a straight match. Although we have had one straight tag team match in the night. I will say that. The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin with MVP and MJF versus the Patriarchy, Christian Cage and Nick Wayne with Mama Wayne and Kip Sabian versus Jet Speed, Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight. FTR and Stokely out to do commentary. Hurt Syndicate is wrapped to the ring. It is underwhelming for me. Jet Speed out to good ovation. The Patriarchy is out next. The belts are presented and the bell rings. The Hurt Syndicate dominates and clears the ring. They go out and continue the assault. Wayne is thrown into a barricade. Bailey is then thrown into a barricade. Lashley with a suplex to Bailey. Bailey comes back. Christian brought into the ring. Jet Speed clears the ring. They hit suicide dives onto the others on the outside. Jet Speed double team Wayne. Wayne and Knight trade shots. Lashley gets Knight outside and drives them into the step. Wayne in against Knight. Christian tagged in. He gets a 2 count on the slam. Knight takes down the Patriarchy. Bailey in, and he keeps the assault up. Christian back in against Bailey. Benjamin tags himself in. Lashley in and slams Bailey down. Benjamin suplexes Bailey onto the group on the outside. The Hurt Syndicate take Bailey and brutalize him in a corner. Lashley gets a 2 count. Benjamin slams Bailey down. He hits several of them and a backdrop for a 2 count. Bailey moves on the corner charge. Lashley tagged in and cut off the tag attempt. Christian breaks up the pin attempt. Members of all three teams are on. Knight and Wayne tagged in. Wayne with an inside cradle for a 2 count. Benjamin comes back with a German suplex on Knight. Christian tags himself in. Wayne then hits a cutter on the apron. Christian gets a 2 count. Lashley tags himself in. He unloads on everyone. He slams Wayne down, back and forth. Wayne with a dragon suplex on Knight. Jet Speed with a doomsday drop kick to Wayne. Jet Speed with stereo plunges outside. Lashley comes over and pushes FTR. Lashley then spears Christian to get the pin. The Hurt Syndicate then leave. FTR in and have a confrontation with Christian. He goes to leave, and Wayne hits the kill switch on Christian. They go to do the concerto, but get interrupted by Adam Copeland returning. It takes him forever to get to the ring. He comes out and he's doing the yeah thing. And I'm like, meanwhile, if I'm Christian, I'm like, anytime now.
Yeah.
He spears Sabian and FTR and Stokely take off. Copeland tells Christian to go
find yourself.
Yes.
You know the part, I think if I remember right, it was Shelton when he threw up, I think it was Speedball.
Yeah.
Like threw him up and he was like coming down towards the steel steps. I was like, man, you imagine if he like just messed up and like smacked his eye off a corner or something. Like,
yeah.
I would just like spots like that get me like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like think like through a table or like a ladder or something, whatever, because like those have give to it, but like them steps do not.
They do not. They do not. AEW Women's World Championship match. Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné. Flashback to what led up to the match. Moné out first. Her train on her jacket has the names of the wrestlers that she has beaten. The entrances take a while. Storm out to a good ovation. The introductions are made and the belt is presented. Moné is heavily booed. The bell rings and they lock up and break. Dueling chants go out. Another lock up and break. They go out and lock up again. Moné holds the ropes for Storm to get in, and Storm slides under the ropes instead. Moné with a roll up and the statement, but Storm gets out. Storm mocks Moné. Storm with a hip attack. Storm gets on Luther's shoulders to grab Moné and run her off the apron to the floor, back and forth. Storm knocked off the apron and Luther catches her. Moné with running knees to take both out and the crowd boos. Storm comes back. Moné with a sunset flip powerbomb to Storm. She follows up with a buckle bomb powerbomb to the floor by Moné. She then mocks Storm. Referee Aubrey Edwards counts Storm. Storm gets in. Moné chokes her in the corner. Moné with several hair mayors. Moné with the leg scissors to Storm. Moné with a German suplex. She gets a 2 count. Storm comes back with a clothesline and punches. She hits a sky high and a fisherman suplex for 2 counts. Moné with an armbar and tornado DDTs for a 2 count. She keeps a key lock on Storm. She works on the joints of Storm and snaps the arm back. Moné with a double arm submission. Storm comes back with a hip attack and a backbreaker. Moné comes back with the arm lock again. Storm gets to the ropes and catapults Moné into them. Moné with the 3 amigos and gets booed for it. She goes up top, but Storm gets her knees up on the frog splash. Storm fights back. She gets the hip attack and a Storm Zero on Moné for a 2 count. Storm with a chicken wing in the center of the ring. Moné bites Storm to get out. Storm reverses a tombstone attempt and bites Moné in her private area.
Yep, sure did.
Moné gets the ankle lock on. Hold on, Tyler. Let me just put a little star there so I can know. Did you pay attention to that part, Tyler? The biting.
Yes.
Tyler's like, you have my full attention now. What computer game? What PlayStation? There's no Atari. There's no Nintendo. It's just this video.
No. Now.
You were doing it for the art, right? You're a
That-
journalist, right?
That's right.
Tyler's like, give me a piece of paper and a pen. I've got to write some stuff down. All right. Back and forth. They trade shots and both fall to the mat. Both out, and referee Aubrey Edwards checks on both. Monet gets a roll up for a 2 count. Storm is bleeding. Monet with the moneymaker for a close 2 count. Storm with a double underhook powerbomb for a 2 count. Monet with a double wrist lock. Storm picks Monet up and runs her into a turnbuckle. Storm with a hip lock facebuster for a 2 count. Monet with a backstabber into a side headlock. I have to stop here because I just got to the part. My Google Docs that I was typing this into, every time I wrote Monet, it wanted to auto-corrected the money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, how do you do the little accent over the E? And it's a special key sequence that you can do it automatically. I think it's Alt 0322 or 233, whatever it is, and it'll do it automatically for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I did it from there on till the end of the match, so it wouldn't keep doing. Do you mean money? No, I don't mean money. Storm reverses into the statement maker. Storm with 3 Storm zeros for a close 2 count. Storm drags Monet to a corner. Monet gets a roll up for a 2 count. Monet goes for a statement maker. Storm comes back. Monet with a backstabber. Storm with a hip attack. Monet headbutts Storm. Monet on top. Storm kisses her and hits Storm Zero off the top rope to get the pin. I said that was an incredible match. Edwards hands Storm her title and Luther embraces Storm. Medics out to check on Monet. The crowd chants Tony to Storm as she leaves.
Great match.
I thought so. The only thing I didn't like was the kick out after multiple finishers before the final Storm Zero off the top rope.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good match. Surprisingly, and I hate to admit this, the next match, as much as I love Kenny Omega, I just wasn't into the match.
It just seemed like there was something off. I don't know what it was. It was too much like focusing on like little things, and it felt like they could never get their rhythm going. But AEW Unified Winner Takes All match, Tyler. AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada versus AEW International Champion Kenny Omega. Flashback to what led up to that match. Jim Ross joins commentary. Okada came out first with Don Callis. Callis then joins commentary. A group of druids sings, and then Omega comes out. The music and pyro are so loud, I can't tell if he's getting a reaction from the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while to get started. Kota Ibushi comes out with Omega. The introductions are made and the belts are presented. The bell rings and the crowd cheers. They get face to face. They circle each other. They lock up and drive to the ropes. They break, another lock up and break, back and forth. Omega with a bulldog. Okada goes out and Omega hits a tope. Omega misses a crossbody. Okada with an elbow drop. Omega with a victory roll, but Okada gets his knees up on a moonsault attempt. They trade blows. Okada with a senton. He is focusing on Omega's midsection. Okada gets Omega on the turnbuckle and then drop kicks him outside. Okada follows and knocks Omega down. Callis attacks Omega. Okada gets Omega on the Spanish announce table and DDTs Omega on it. Ibushi over to check on Omega. Omega gets in on the 7 count. Okada with another DDT for a 2 count. Omega with a cross arm breaker. Okada breaks free and drops another elbow. They trade blows. Okada with a knee to the midsection. Okada with shoulders to the midsection. Omega comes back with a Hurricane Rana. Okada goes out and Omega hits a suicide dive. He then goes after Callis, who takes off. Okada back in, and Omega hits a missile drop kick for a 2 count. Okada comes back with the AA. Okada slams Omega. He goes up top, but gets caught with chops from Omega. Omega favors his midsection, and Okada is favoring his elbow. They battle on the top rope. Omega hits a big superplex. He gets a close 2 count. They trade moves and covers. Okada with the drop kick. He hits the second one to kick Omega into the corner. Okada with a flying elbow drop. Omega struggles to fight back. Okada drops down and hits a gut buster. Okada hits a second elbow drop. He keeps the punishment up on Omega. Omega starts to fight back. Omega with a power bomb and a V trigger for a 2 count. He hits another V trigger for another 2 count. Omega hits a third V trigger. Omega with a full Nelson superplex on Okada. He gets a 2 count. He hits another V trigger. Okada with a tombstone for a 2 count. Omega hits a German suplex but can't keep the bridge on. He gets a 2 count. Rocky Romero comes out and gets on the apron. Ibushi comes over and drags him off into the barricade. Omega hits a V trigger and a one-winged angel, but Callis pulls the referee out of the ring. That was the part that was starting to get to me. Referee Aubrey Edwards comes out. Omega hits another V trigger, but Okada counters the one-winged angel with the Rainmaker. He gets a close count. They trade shots. Okada with a shot to the midsection and a drop kick, but Omega with a roll-up for a 2 count on a Rainmaker attempt. Omega with a shot, but Okada hits the Rainmaker to get the pin and become the unified champion.
Was it me, and maybe I could be misremembering this wrong, but was it the crowd wasn't very into this match, if I remember right, were they?
No. The last like maybe 2 minutes or so when they're doing the V triggers and the one-winged angels and the Rainmakers, they were a little into it then, but not really. I think they were just exhausted at this point. And they knew, they're like, hey, we've got one more match, and you know they're going long. It's not going to be a 3-minute match. It's not going to be a 10-minute match. They preview the final match, flashback to what led to it. Texas death match for the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley versus Adam Page. Tyler, now that you've seen the match, and I'll go through it, what were your thoughts on it? Because I thought one thing as soon as we got almost halfway into it.
For one, I thought it was too long. For two, there was definitely... Okay, so you remember the nails, the spiky nails part?
Yep.
There was like 2 spots on that just looked extremely sloppy. Like you shouldn't have even had it if you weren't going to commit. My other thought was, is the glass bottles, is that for one, is that even real glass? Because like if
it was that was too early in the match, and it had like literally no damage. I mean, you saw a couple of things like, oh, they're cut, but they used that glass way too much for it to not cut them even more.
And I was just like, yeah, it was. I understand Moxley likes doing that type of stuff, but like, I don't know. Death matches aren't for me.
I agree with you, but halfway through, I'm like, oh, this is their version of the Avengers Endgame WrestleMania 40.
Yeah, when everybody decided
I'm like, the only thing they're missing is turning off the lights, and when it comes back on, Sting is behind Moxley. That's the only thing that they did not get.
Everybody and their brother decided to show up.
Right. Page out first to a long cinematic entrance. He gets a great ovation when he comes out. They show a truck driving in the back. The Death Riders are in the back, and they walk through the crowd after they get out. Tony Schiavone has rejoined the commentary. There's like 10 people at that commentary table. You see barbed wire tables at ringside. You remember all those times in your life you've needed barbed wire and tables together, don't you, Tyler?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
The introductions are made and the belt is presented. It is still in the briefcase. The bell rings. They trade shots. Moxley slaps Page, who responds by beating Moxley down in the corner. Moxley comes back after Marina Shafir distracts Page and Moxley with corner-mounted punches. Moxley grabs a fork. Page avoids a shot and gets a fork of his own.
Yeah.
He gets a leg vice and stabs Moxley with the fork. Moxley is bleeding already. Page grabs a strand of barbed wire. Moxley grabs it and runs it across Page's forehead. He gets Page on the ropes, and Shafir then bites Page. Moxley goes outside and yells at some fans. All right, let me stop it there. Way too much biting on this event. If you're going to do biting in the main event, then you can't have done the Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné biting spots, because they had 2 biting spots, and they were more memorable than this. Moxley grabs a barbed wire wrapped chair. He hits Page with it and then slams Page on it. He beats Page down. He puts the chair in a corner. They both avoid the chair. Page grabs it and swings it, but Moxley kicks it into Page's face. Moxley puts the chair back in the corner. Shafir and Moxley take a table out and set it up. Moxley puts Page on the top rope, and Page bites Moxley. Moxley hits a cutter, and Shafir gets a bucket of glass. Much like you keep your bucket that's like under your bed at all times.
Yeah, it's right over there.
Yeah. Moxley pours it out and gets some and rubs it into Page's face. They struggle by the glass, and Moxley pulls Page through it. Moxley pile drives Page into the glass. They trade blows, and Moxley with another pile driver. Page gets 2 chairs up in the ring. Moxley gets 2 chairs up in the ring. They fight on the turnbuckle. Moxley grabs some barbed wire, wraps it around Page. Page turns the chairs around and power bombs Moxley into them. Now, that was painful.
Yeah, you could tell by when he was like...
Yeah. A double count is going. Page with a couple of rolling elbows with barbed wire on it to Moxley. Wheeler Yuta comes in with a chair and hits Page with it. Now we're starting our Avengers Endgame, folks.
Yep.
Page hits Yuta out. Page hits Moxley with Angel's wings. Page goes to the apron, and Shafir jumps on his back. Page AAs her through the table. Page hits the Deadeye to Moxley on the glass. Claudio Castagnoli comes in and attacks Page. Castagnoli and Yuta grab another table. Will Ospreay comes out. Gabe Kidd joins Castagnoli and Yuta in beating him up. Kidd pile drives Ospreay on the floor. They wrap him in a chair and stomp him. Medics come out to check on Ospreay. Page fights off a Moxley attempt to drive Page into the barbed wire tables by backdropping Moxley into the ring. Moxley recovers and suplexes Page through the tables. A double count is going, both up at 9. They take Ospreay out on a stretcher. Page and Moxley trade blows in the ring. Moxley with a bite and a lariat. Moxley with a pile driver and a bulldog choke. Page doesn't submit. Moxley thinks he's won. Referee Paul Turner counts. Page beats the count. Moxley with a double arm DDT to Page into the chair. Page gets up before the 10 count. Moxley with another lariat. Wheeler Yuta in with a plastic bag. Darby Allin is shown on the screen from Mount Everest, saying he is coming back to take everything from Jon Moxley. Bryan Danielson comes in and hits Yuta with the knee. He beats the Death Riders down. Allin repels from the top of Globe Life Field. Moxley turns around and sees him. Page takes advantage and hits the buckshot on Moxley. Allin hits the coffin drop on the Death Riders. Page hits a second buckshot to Moxley. He then hits a Deadeye to Moxley through a table at ringside. Page gets up. Shafir gets Moxley up at 9. The Young Bucks come in and hit super kicks to Page. They hit the EVP trigger to Page. Moxley and Shafir get a bed of nails. Moxley curb stomps Page, whose hand gets most of the damage. Then the paradigm shift DDT into the bed of nails. Page again beats the count. Moxley asks Shafir for the key to the case. She also goes to get the case, and someone handcuffs her to the table, and Prince Nana comes out and dances. It was Nana who handcuffed her. Moxley comes over. Swerve comes out and hits the Bucks with a chain. He throws Page the chain. Page hits Moxley with the chain. Moxley gets the chain, only to get hit with the buckshot from Page. Page wraps the chain around Moxley's neck and hangs Moxley and Moxley finally taps. The crowd goes wild. Swerve looks on. He and Nana leave. Page gets the case. Turner raises his hand. Page opens the case. He is overcome with emotion as he is announced the champion and raises the belt high. They then sign off from Texas. So, final thoughts, Tyler. What'd you think of everything?
Well, let me just give it an overall. Let me give it an overall from an objective point of view. I would say that it was probably like a 4.5
Okay.
star show. Like it was good. Now mine, like personally, like I said, there was just the at least two matches didn't interest me. And unfortunately I wasn't really into the Kenny Omega match. So I would give it like a solid 4.
Okay. On a A plus to F scale, what would you grade it?
B plus.
I was about a B. I think that's the Omega match wasn't bad, but out of the last 3 matches, it was definitely the weakest one to me.
Mhm.
But overall, a good show, not a great show because it was way too long. Like if
Yeah,
you're gonna have the gauntlet matches, cool. You gotta shorten them up. Like
right.
Mystico may be good, but it took way too long, and he just messed too many things up, and it just the show was dragging.
Yeah. And the sad thing is like I said, I mean, I'm telling you that I mean I'm not really a fan of Texas death matches, but even that I liked better than 3 other matches.
Right.
So
And I mean, we saw Moxley when he was Dean Ambrose in the WWE. He doesn't
who
have to
who
he doesn't have to do the garbage stuff all the time. He just likes to do it, and he does it like way too much. I prefer the WrestleMania match he had against Brock Lesnar, where all he did was just take F5 after F5 after F5. That was more entertaining to me because I'm like, hey, how many F5s is it going to take to keep this guy down?
Mm.
But overall, I'd give it a B. Not bad. But Tyler, next, we had already talked about this. You talked about Ring of Honor. We're going back to Honor Club because they have on there a bunch of highlights of different people and different matches and main events they've had over the years. And so we're going to watch and talk about, review the trilogy of matches that FTR had with the Briscoes for our next episode. But in addition to that, folks, on the Patreon, in addition to the Couple Show on Patreon, where Tyler and I take a look at wrestling shows, we have the Joey Harris Super Show every month, where the gang gets together and we just talk about all kinds of craziness,
Whatever we want, really.
whatever really comes to our mind. This past month, we talked about if we were to have a gigantic winner take all brawl between all 8 billion people, it would take 33 rounds. How far we would go and what channel we would end up on, because multiple channels would be covering all of this because it's everybody literally in the world. In addition to we talked about the perfect summer drink and so much more. Nan and I do quarterly the book club baristas, where our next club meeting is in July, and we're going to talk about Based on a True Story, which is Norm Macdonald's memoir. Tyler and I do Res Life recordings, crazy stories from the residents college housing world. You have the green room, where I sit down with a guest before we do an actual show and just talk about different things. All of that, notes, newsletters, the artist corner with TJ. There are a couple of short films on there. All of that, just $5 a month. And Tyler, I saw
Our Star Wars talk.
Yeah, the film club, which is actually the free preview on this week's Joey Harris show that will be dropping as we record this tomorrow. Where Tyler and I, this past film club, talked about Attack of the Clones. Next month, this month, as we're recording this, is June 1st. We'll be back with Revenge of the Sith. And then we're going on to Solo, and then Rogue One, and then we're into the original classic trilogy.
The OG.
Yeah. Before we discuss, Tyler will go on a dissertation of hours. I'm gonna have to get the professional plan, because I know Tyler will have a lot of thoughts when we get to the sequel trilogy. We're gonna Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, and Awaken That Force, aren't we, Tyler?
If we have to.
Yeah. All that, so much more, just $5 a month. You can't get a foot-long sub for that anymore. Tyler, I got an email from Subway today. It's like, for a limited time only, you could get I think it was like 2 or 3 subs, like one day a week, for $5.99. I'm like, that's not even what the song was.
Nope.
So all of that, just $5 a month. There's also a lot of free stuff on there. So if you want to join, that's patreon.com/babykangaroomedia. But Tyler, before I let you go ahead and plug any and everything you have, my friend.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at the Tyler MCK. Yeah, that's about it. Go watch a good show.
Yeah. You can follow me on Facebook, Threads, and Instagram at the Joey Harris. I've also got a Substack that's at the Joey Harris. All of that. So I made it simple for you to say social media, and I'm on it. I am at the Joey Harris. But Tyler, again, thank you as always. And for Tyler, this is Joey saying we will talk to you all next time.
Bye.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.